So for today's video, I'm going to make two spring arrangements for my buffet in the dining room for Easter. I'm using this urn, stuffing it with floral foam, and I want this to be kind of woodsy, very loose arrangement. I'm going to use these dogwood with pussy willows on them. I think they look very springy. And I picked these up at AC Moore, and this is the number if you'd like to order it. They were $8, and AC Moore had a 40% off, so I got everything 40% off, which is a good deal because they're really, really well made. So I'm only going to use two because, as I said, I want this to be a very loose, woodsy, natural looking arrangement. Now I wanted to spread them out so they look more wispy. When I used to work for a florist, people always requested this kind of arrangement. And this is just natural twig. And I love how that looks. I use that in a lot of arrangements. Sometimes I use curly willow, but this is just, you can find sticks and branches in your backyard, and that's what I did. This is just a branch. I just want something to make it natural looking. Now I'm going to add some really pretty natural looking tulips. I love them when they're closed like that, and I loved the color of the green, that lime green. I think it really goes pretty with the arrangement. So I'm just going to make these look like they're popping out of the ground everywhere. I'm just going by eye, what looks good to my eye, and if you're going to create something like this, do the same thing. So I'm kind of imagining this is like the base of a dogwood tree, and I just have the tulips growing up out of the ground. That's kind of my vision for this arrangement. And I've got to have a pop of pink in there. Just, I love that spring color, and I picked these up at Walmart. Just a small little bouquet. I'm only going to use it for this one arrangement, so I didn't spend a lot of money on them. Just that little bit of pink pops it. And I don't really have a lot of pink in my house, but I do use a lot of pink in my spring arrangements that I make, and for Easter. I do like the turquoise blues, pinks, and yellows for Easter. I really think it says spring. My house is very French country. It's got a lot of reds and golds and lime greens, so pink doesn't necessarily go. My house looks great at Christmas because of the color tones I have, but pinks don't really go great with So I'm just filling this out. I don't want too much in there. As I said, I want it to look very loose and woodsy. And just look around and see if there's any places where you need to balance the color out. And I see a hole right there. I like to vary heights, some higher, some lower. Like I said, just like they're popping out of the ground naturally. And bend them, shape them, try to get them to lay the way you want them to. So much easier using artificial flowers than it is when you're using real flowers, because they're going to do their own thing anyway naturally. And when I worked for the florist for all those years, when we would use tulips, which droop very easily, we used to put wire in it just to keep them standing and position them so they would stay. Now I'm going to use this moss because I think it looks real, almost like a bird's nest, real rusticy, and it kind of goes with my woodsy theme. I've got a couple of more sticks from the backyard I thought I'd put in, and I just want it to look, like I said, like it's growing in the yard. So go out in your yard, and if you have different kind of branches, just, if it looks good to your eye, cut them and add them in. I don't know about you, but I love floral arranging. It's very relaxing to me. I love being creative. I loved when I worked for the florist because every day I got to be creative in so many different ways, and I just found it to be a very peaceful, relaxing environment. So doing it for my home is always fun. Okay, now I'm just going to stuff the moss around, and I'm going to mound it. Just fill in all the little spaces that need to be. It really makes it come together. And you know, you can start tweaking it, look at the arrangement. I didn't do a lot on the back because it's going against a wall. I tried to use more of it in the front. Of course, you have to have depth and color, but because it's going back against a wall, I wasn't real fussy about the back. You know, you could even throw a couple Easter eggs in there on top of the moss if you wanted to. I'm not going to do that because I have another idea in mind that I'm going to use in the middle of this on the buffet. But here's what it looks like. I'm really happy with how it came out. I definitely think it's going to make my buffet look springy. I think that pink really pops with that lime green tulip. I love those lime green tulips. So those are the two of them that I made. And we're going to go put them on the buffet and see what they look like. And there they are. Oh, I'm really happy with that, how they turned out. The color's pretty. I hope you enjoyed this.